In conjunction with Jewish Women's Aid, the JWA, this Shabbat has been designated to heighten awareness against domestic violence in the Jewish community. The 25th of November is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence against Women. Terribly and tragically, abuse exists within all sectors of the Jewish community, irrespective of perceived religiosity or affluence. As well as visible bruises of physical violence, victims are injured through controlling behavior and emotional abuse. Overwhelmingly, cases are violence by men against women, but there are also cases of abuse against men. Exacerbated by COVID-19 and lockdown tensions, Jewish Women's Aid says that abuse within the community reflects the national picture. 80% of community-based domestic abuse services have seen an increase in demand. 61% of women living with an abusive partner have reported that the abuse has become worse during the pandemic. I asked a victim of abuse what message she would have me convey. I paraphrase her words. I find them quite harrowing to read. First, tell them that there's hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel, even 7 years later. When it starts, no one believes you. My children used to run and close the windows and dial 999. The family have denied it all along. Their son is still their blue-eyed boy. Abuse takes many forms. There was money. He had it and he earned it. He had a good job. I was given just £70 a week to buy everything the family needed. If the kids went to parties, the presents had to come out of that too. If I went over budget, I was fined. My mileage was logged, how far I was driving, just to make sure that I didn't go further than to school. It was suffocating. I was constantly made to feel that I was doing something wrong. There was the constant innuendo, which made me feel inadequate. At social functions, I was constantly put down in front of other people. He was the important and successful breadwinner, and I was just the minder of the family, a non-person. I was disregarded at every level. If I voiced an opinion, I was told it was of no value. Women need to know that they're not wrong. It took me years to build up my freedom. I used to be terrified of recriminations. Nobody believed this could happen. When I tried to speak out, I was not treated very kindly. I was told that it should be kept behind closed doors. I wish someone had listened to me earlier. Women need to talk to someone who will believe them. They need their self-worth and their lives put in perspective. They need their dignity and integrity intact. Women need to know that it's okay to seek help. It's safe to seek help. It's not acceptable to beat anyone up or undermine them verbally or to degrade them in any way. It's common sense. It's unacceptable. I have been aghast to discover that friends and neighbours could be complete strangers. How well abuse is masked. The perpetrator is shielded by their partner's terror, embarrassment, and shame. We must all be aware that it happens, and all be aware that it happens in families which, to all intents and purposes, look stable and secure. It's not a rich-poor thing, or a religious-non-religious thing. It is more prevalent than we care to acknowledge, and it is always, always a terrible thing. It's normal, it's healthy for people to disagree. There's no shame in the passionate advocacy of a passionately held belief. It's even acceptable to have public disagreements and public differences of opinion. But the line between the acceptable and the outrageous is in how we disagree and how we resolve our differences. The language and the style of our discussions needs to be channeled appropriately. We don't need to win every argument. Marriage is a partnership, not a league table. It's a relationship of equals, not a contest. Each partner must feel that he or she has the opportunity to articulate an opinion and determine the outcome of a discussion, where to live, where to go on holiday, where to send the kids to school. The Talmud teaches us that a husband can't oppress his wife or deny her the chance to visit her family home. If she feels trapped, then he is failing in his obligations to give love, companionship, and delight. The way we model ourselves as adults has a significant impact on the image of acceptable behavior we project to our children. When we're overly demanding, or mean-spirited, or bullying, we teach our children that these modes of behavior have a legitimate place. They have no legitimate place. Rather, we should teach them to be respectful of each other's dignity and to look out for each other's welfare. I was raised to be polite to shop assistants and waiters, to treat everyone, whatever their role, even if I'd meet them only once, with respect, with kindness and consideration. We must teach affirmatives and positive role modelling. We need to nurture families to be respectful of humanity. We're all created equal. Man and woman are created equal, and this applies in the classroom, in the boardroom, and the bedroom. We have a collective responsibility to restore civility to society. We're working to cleanse our environment of toxins. It's time to censure toxic language and toxic behaviour. We may not stand by and let those we know suffer. We are all entitled to a life free from abuse. The victim of abuse is trapped by the person they once imagined loved them more than anyone or anything. What does that say about me? About the choices I make? Self-confidence is shattered, and sometimes there's nowhere to go. As couples sign up for a shul wedding, we must provide relationship counselling as well as teaching the laws of mikveh and Shabbat candles. Family purity is about the purity of a family, and domestic violence must be on the agenda. I believe that we should be advocating a uniform prenuptial agreement for every couple, which removes some of the potentially oppressive inequalities that might lie ahead in obtaining a get. These matters must be raised so that they can be addressed, so that the victims will know they will be believed, so that they will know that there are addresses like Jewish Women's Aid that they can turn to. As pastors, as leaders, and as friends, we all need to know what to look out for, what to say, when to refer, and to whom referrals should be made. Marriages require constant work because we grow and we mature. Let us make sure that our families can grow together and mature together. Let us restore the under the chuppah blessing of God who created joy and gladness, the groom and the bride. May we help our couples share a lifetime of happiness, glad song, pleasure, delight, love, fellowship, peace, and friendship. I thank you for your attention today and for your commitment to even greater vigilance tomorrow. Shabbat Shalom.